Hi, David. It's great to be talking to you again. How are you doing since the last time we spoke?
Pretty good. I've been pretty busy actually. Um, did a lot of shows last year
Yeah.
and did a lot of solo shows. And then I proceed into what we're about to talk about with the Bangalore Choir start up again. And that kind of came about after my last tour of France. I was doing a lot of thinking. And as a solo artist, I do pretty good, but I noticed that branding is what it's all about. And I play at least 60% Bangalore Choir songs in my set, and everybody knows the words. So I thought, you know what? I'm not a heavy metal singer. I'm a hard rock singer. I got to get back to basics. So I called management and I called booking and I said, I'm going to reform Bangalore Choir and do a new record. They're like, great. This will really help to establish the brand and the booking. Because people are interested in booking me, but then they go, you know, if David was still in Accept or something like that, and we could get bigger shows. And as a solo artist, they're only allowed a minimal amount.
Mhm.
So that was the main focus.
Yeah, and you've been keeping yourself really, really busy lately. I mean, with Iron Eyes, with also Goods, and now, of course, with Bangalore Choir. Of course, your solo albums as well. That I think we released like one last year or only this year. I can't really remember. Um,
Yeah, last year.
yeah, you're
But
in a really productive phase right now, right?
yeah, I think I'm gonna step back though and really focus on Bangalore and maybe another solo album later. But as we talk, I can explain to you why. And
Yeah.
you know, I guess I can start now. It seemed like I used to call myself kind of the weapon of mass production. And a lot of it has to do with the nature of the business. You got to stay busy, you got to record, you got to release albums. But it just got so tiring. I mean, I haven't run out of ideas. I don't have a mental block yet, thank God, because I try every day. I think last time we talked, I try to write every day,
Yeah. I remember
even
you
if
talking
it's
about that. Yeah.
yeah, a couple of ideas. I just scribble it down and record it on my phone because anything that comes in your mind, you need to.
Mhm.
But I make an effort at that every day. But I'm really going to plant my feet and focus on the end of this year and next year, Bangalore Choir.
Yeah, and it's really really funny that you were saying that even in your solo uh, shows you need to play songs from Bangalore Choir and everyone knows the lyrics because as I was preparing this interview I kind of dig a little. I didn't know Bangalore Choir at all, and I kind of went digging. And from what I understood back in the 90s when you first released on Target, it wasn't that well received, was it?
Uh, it was greatly received. And I mean, we had the first single was added with what we used to have called Radio Day,
Mhm.
and that's typically a Tuesday. And we had 144 full-time stations playing the song. And we had a lot of big shows. But then the music environment changed. And like 8 weeks later, completely took over the music scene.
Yeah.
And I think hard rock kind of committed suicide, because the message, especially in America, was how many young guys can really relate to a guy who's got 4 or 5 girls in a photo session and Harley Davidsons and nice cars and, living this glamorous lifestyle. And then you got this band like Nirvana or those bands come from single family homes, talking to their peers about what they're going through with really good, lyrics and music behind it. So, and not dressing all fancy and, these giant production videos that are the size of a football field. It was too much. And I think we kind of deserved it. It was like a head check, but it was
Yeah, it was really a
completely,
reality check, right?
yeah, it was just devastating. I mean, here you are thinking you're going to get on the White Snake Slip of the Tongue tour because I had the same management, I had the big record company. I had everything all in a row. And then one day the phone rang. They said, come to the office. I walked in. Hey, what's up? And they said, we're dropping the band. We're done. I said, well, you just spent a few $1 million putting this thing together. What are you talking about? I don't worry about it. Music has changed one other direction. I thought it was kind of a joke. I didn't, it was shocking. But had I known, and I've said in every interview that Bangalore Choir was really big in Europe and UK, and that grunge really didn't start over here until like 2 years later, I had an audience, that was open arms waiting for me to tour. But I was told it's over, pro life, get a day job.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
it was all out of the blue, and it was really, really sad what happened back then. I think is a lot of good bands have just disappeared and never came back. That's
I
sad. But
I I vividly remember being in a barbecue with Jamie Lane, Stephen Pearcy, a bunch of guys standing in the kitchen drinking tequila, going, "What happened?" Everybody got popped. I mean, Warrant sold 6 million records. You know, so what do we all do? We try to make kind of a grunge sounding record as a follow up, but the grunge audience knew it wasn't real, and our fans go, "What are you guys doing?" So we were just floating. We didn't know where to go.
yeah, those were some hard times. But now, gladly, Bangalore Choir is back, and
Yeah,
also what's great, I think, is this is a successor to On Target, right? This is the part two. It's like
yeah.
why is it a successor? It's just like sounds similar or concept-wise also a successor.
Story goes like this. When I made the decision, I already had a record deal with another label. They
Mhm.
had what they call option. They said, we had done a show in November. Are you going to stay with us? We'd like to do another album. I'm like, let me think about it. But I know Brave Words, and I know how popular they are and how great they are with marketing. And I know some of those people. So I called them and said, hey, I'm going to redo Bangalore Choir. And I said, but I'm going to go back to On Target. And that's what it's going to be. Who I am as a singer, those melodies, those big harmonies. And they were like, great, we'll sign you. But I studied On Target heavily and to try to put my brain back in 1990. It's not easy. You grow in different directions. And Andy Susemihl and I decided to write most of this record together. The first 3 or 4 attempts were not there. I said, this isn't it, Andy. And then he wrote a riff of a song called Driver's Seat, which is going to be the next single and video. And when he sent me that music, I said, that's it. And I just wrote the words and recorded it. I said, now we're on it. We've got it. Then we did Bullet Train, I think, which you probably heard.
Yeah, great track as
And
well.
yeah, great track. And it very similar to On Target, a little more mature, but even the artwork. I do a lot of records with a band called Goot. Some are Russian, some
Hmm.
are Dutch. It's really sad how they have to communicate. They have to kind of communicate through the Netherlands to get to me. But the bass player does all the artwork. And I said, I'd like to talk to you about doing the layout. Here's my thought. It has to look like On Target, nostalgia.
Hmm.
I want the pinup girl. I want the planes. And he goes, let me try. So we went back and forth. And I got to say, his name is Simon Zoot. He's the bassist. He did a great job. He figured it out,
Yeah.
2 or 3 tries. So I wanted to make everything, if it's On Target part two, it's got to be On Target part two.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the thinking. And during the writing process, I called all the right people. Mario Percadani played with Hardline, great friend of mine, great guitar player. We recorded 3 songs together, and one of them will be a single. It's called I Never Meant To. It's almost like Heavy Toto. And I wrote it about my daughters and my divorces in my life. They haven't heard it yet. It's a very emotional song. I think it's my sweet spot. I'm really excited about that track. And then I reached out to Freddie Dornberg from Axel Rudipel, and I told him, hey, I want to write a piano gospel kind of song like Elton John um, style. And he sent me a couple ideas, and I picked one. That's on the record. But I have to tell your listeners, the album is 16 songs.
Yeah.
What we decided to do is Act One, Act Two, because it's just Giles Lavery's vision was, why don't we make it kind of like a Meatloaf idea with Steinman, a whole progressive thing, the
Hmm.
Act One, Act Two of the record. Because I at the time that I'd finished recording, it was about 24, 25 songs. That's a lot of songs, and there's not enough space on a record. So we picked the best 16. Um, the players on the record are Andy Susemihl is probably 90% writer
Hmm.
with me. He plays a lot of solos. Um, Mario plays a few. Ferdy plays piano. And Jimmy Waldo plays keys on a few parts in one of the songs. Um, Even Giles Lavery does some background vocals with me on it. And but I think, in all sincerity, this is the best record I've done in years. And I don't say that to sell the record, because if I love it, doesn't mean you love it. I just feel like it's really that good.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's as good as Bullet Train, I'm sure it won't be one of your best records ever. I'm sure of it.
I think so. I mean, it's one of those albums where I get away from it for a couple of days, then I'll listen back. Man, that's a great. Oh, that's good. Because when it started happening, it was like the raindrops were falling. When you get into the mindset, it's
Yeah.
just like this rush goes through your body, where it's like your hand is almost automatic.
Hmm.
And I don't know how to explain it, but I don't question it. I just go. And the participants on the record, I kept Nalo and Ricardo for my solo band, because I was going to do a whole new rhythm section. And I think, what am I thinking? I've toured all over Europe with these guys. They're a great bassist and drummer. They live 5 minutes from me. They're a great rhythm section. And I firmly believe rock and roll, you need a rhythm section that's like driving nails. You
Yeah.
need somebody that's tight. They understand each other. But then I said, I had seen, Eric Uris played guitar with us on a Bangalore Choir show in Germany a few years ago. And I wanted him in my solo band, but the other guitarist said, no, I want to be the only. So I got Eric an audition for Warlord. And we're all kind of a family, Alcatraz, Warlord, all these bands. We know each other, we help each other. And I went to see Warlord in Milan, and the crowd was going crazy. It sold out a couple thousand people. And I watched him and Diego Pires as a double guitar team. And I said, I need that. That is what I need. Because that's what Bangalore was, Kurt Mitchell and Don Kirk. So what I decided to do, even though Andy and the other guys played on the record, is I asked Eric and Diego to play all the rhythms. And I wanted 3 rhythm parts the same from Eric and Diego on each track. So you got the middle, left, and right. They play a little solo stuff here and there, but they're fabulous. So they're going to be my touring band in October and on the November Girls School tour. So it's a collective of great, great talent.
You came up with a very very solid lineup, and I mean you were talking about all those names. I'm gonna hotline Andy Susemihl because he's really also a great guitar player and a great songwriter. I mean, I also had the chance to talk with him about his solo record like back in March or something, and it's just unbelievable.
I met Andy when I was in Accept. I was in Studio A, he was in Studio B with Udo. And every night we would go to the pub and we just became friends. Me, him, Matthias Deep, and I'm dear friends with Udo. And we've developed a loving brotherhood, so to speak. But I'd watch Andy play and I go, there's something special about it. Matthias is great too, but Andy is more my flavor. And I had not seen Andy. I was back in America and I went back to Germany around 2006. And I was at a Halloween party and somebody grabbed my shoulders and shook me and I turned around. It was Andy. So what are you doing? I said, nothing. He goes, let's write some songs. So we wrote Universal Language together. And hence, since then, we've written probably, God, the 12 albums. But he's always, Andy is the kind of guy you can tell him what you're thinking and it comes out of his hand. I just, it's a great thing. There's a chemistry and his guitar playing is, and he's a great singer. We're going to do some acoustic shows. Our first one is September 6th, and then we're going to do one in December together. And we're going to play a lot of the songs we wrote together and some really old classic covers and some new covers. So the set list is crazy. And I think on the Alcatraz Girls School Tour, in the vicinity where Andy lives in Germany, I'm going to invite him on stage to play live with me and
Yeah,
some
that
of
would
those
be great. Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, Andy and I have toured everywhere, and I love him dearly. And all your listeners, Andy Susemihl, he's check him out.
Yeah, it's great, it's fabulous. Now you were talking about the artwork, and you said something that I also found really curious. Is that the cover to the new On Target Part 2 really reminds me of the cover for the first one, but more like a modernized version of that one. You already said that you were aiming for that, and that Simon did that, pretty easily. What instructions did you give him?
Well, he came to my house with Jan, the guitarist, to visit one day, and I was writing this record, and I had the album on my shelf, and I said, "This is going to be the cover. I've got to stay in this realm." And he studied it, and he looked at it, and he goes, "Let me go home." I said, "Because everybody knows that cover, the first album. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, it sold about 350,000 copies, I think. It didn't quite make gold, but everywhere I go, people bring that record to me to sign,
mhm,
that they bought in 1992,
yeah,
and the reissues that go out sometimes, people buy those. And the vinyl that are bootlegs, people will show up with vinyl. I'm like, where'd you get this? Oh, I found it on eBay. So I'll sign that. But there's something about the song Slipping Away, All or Nothing, Angel in Black, that whole chemistry of that first record. I wanted to recapture. It wasn't easy. The artwork was probably the easiest part. And I gotta say, Simon, Simon Zoot, go on Facebook, see his artwork. I highly recommend him. He's totally professional. Great bass player, great person, and a great artist.
yeah. And I mean, you also talked about the album that's divided into two acts. The first one is more typical Bangalore Choir. The second one is a little bit different, right? Did I get that right?
No, no, it's
Okay.
Act One and Act Two. It's basically because there's 16 songs,
Hmm.
but somehow when you make a record, it always kind of is like a novel. When you start reading the lyrics and you get the motor running on a record, it goes, oh, this all kind of works together. It's not intentional unless you're a
Yeah.
band like Rush or King's X, where
Hmm.
they have a concept and we're going to start here and the story ends here. And Rush were amazing at that, but uh, no, it's kind of a marketing thing. Act One, Act Two.
Hmm.
But the songs are very. There's a song called "Still the Same." It's very similar to "Freight Train Rollin'." The ballad "I Never Meant to" would be my follow-up to "Loaded Gun." There's a song that's similar to "Angel in Black," called "How Does It Feel." Um, and then we've got this gospel piano thing with Ferdy, and I've got one that's almost Blackberry Smoke on Act One. It's called "The Light," and it's basically about me going to LA, starving to death, going back, getting a call from Accept, hit the big time, then back to zero. And at the end of the song, it's basically thanking God and all the fans for a great ride. It's called "The Light," and There's a lot of songs on the record, like the one with 30 is called Mending Fences. I'm a rancher. I lived in Montana. I like working ranches, cowboy, and mending fences is basically in English here would be like making amends and solving a problem. And that's what it's about. But there's a song on there called Swimming with the Shark. It's about meeting a crazy girl in San Francisco, and you realize she's totally insane and eating you alive. Um, there's some humor on the album, a lot of deep melodic cuts, and extraordinary musicianship. I have to say, I got really lucky because I didn't know how it was going to work. I mean, when I went back and started studying the album, I mean, live I can play the songs, it's a different feel. But to sit down and go, I need to write a follow up to this. Oh my God. What was I thinking about? How was I feeling? And I just said, screw it, just keep writing. And we finally, like I said, Driver's Seat, this next single, when it came together, I said, all right, we got it, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, and the album is called Rapid Fire Succession. I don't think I said that yet. It's set to be released sometime around late this year, right? September, yeah.
October 24th.
Okay.
October 24th. And it's perfect because I begin my headline Bangalore Choir tour October 28th in France.
Oh, yeah.
I have 5 nights in a row. Then I come home, and then I go back out with Alcatraz and Girls School. So the timing is perfect. And then next year we have big festivals booked, a bunch of club dates that are coming in. So basically, going back to the brand was a smart idea.
Yeah.
It's recognizable. People
Hmm.
go, oh, yeah, I know those guys. I know that record. Love that record. So,
Yeah, it was a smart thing to do. And what exactly are you preparing for that tour? What can you reveal to us about the set list and the overall show that you're gonna bring?
well, I got to play the classics from On Target.
Yeah.
My set will be probably 50 minutes. I'll do a few accept songs from Eat the Heat, Generation Clash, and maybe Hellhammer or Ecstasy. But I want to put in 3 to 4 of the new album. Uh, there's a really great song called I'm Headed For that I wrote with Mario that's really up tempo rock, and everybody loves it. And the funny thing is, when I recorded that song, my voice was completely trashed. I'd been singing all day. I had no voice left. And Mario said, your voice sounds perfect. Let's try it. Oh, man, I can't sing. And he's like, just sing. I don't know what happened, but it fit. He heard it. And he goes, yeah, it's the right sound. So probably at least 3 or 4 from the new album. And acoustic shows we do, we're going to, you kind of have, if you can play it on acoustic, you can play it anywhere.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. If you write a song on an acoustic guitar, it's going to sound great on electric. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, look at Dead Daisies. I mean, they're the masters of that. They can go play a coffee house in the daytime and then go play an electric show at night. That's a real rock and roll, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you said that most of this album came up from your collaboration with Andy Susemihl. Was there any idea that you still had roaming from like the on target days that you still had around and decided to let's write it now?
Not really. All I know is when I play the song live, I get this feeling and I see the people singing the words. Like if you're in France and when they speak to you, the English is not so singing the words of the song.
Mhm.
And you start to realize there's something to those songs that people love and identify with.
Yeah.
But I tried a few Bangalore Choir records over the years. I'd have maybe 2 or 3 good songs on the record, but maybe 9 fillers. It just wasn't like this album. Wasn't like On Target. I mean, Cadence was pretty good because Kurt played on it, and Danny Greenberg, who we sadly lost a few months ago. He died. And I'd actually reached out to Kurt and a few of the guys to be part of this, and they said, "No, we're not interested. They're retired. They're doing like fusion fun bands and
Mhm.
just recording in their garage and being family people." And I understand. I'm probably the only maniac out of that pile of guys that is really killing myself to live, performing and making records. I've got more drive than they do. And I understand it, you know, but I'm happy with the people that I have. One time, Kurt Mitchell actually told me we played a big show in England, Firefest. And downstairs, what they did was they bring the amplifiers downstairs, and the two guitar players and the one guitar player would tweak ahead, and they would take it while the other band was finishing upstairs, have all the settings on the amp that they were using, put it on stage, bring the amps upstairs from the band before you, and the next band would go tweak the head out. So Curtis looks at me while they're jamming together. We had a crowd of people watching Andy and Kurt. And he looked at me and goes, "Why don't you call me? Why don't you just bring this guy?" He goes, "You don't need me. This guy's a monster." And Andy looked at me like, "Wow, Kurt says I'm a monster," because he loves Kurt. And everybody loves Kurt. But Curtis goes, "You don't need me, man. That guy's a beast." So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what about your vocal performance? Did you try anything new this time?
No, I've learned over the years that if I feel a song, I'll perform it. If I'm kind of struggling with the song and I don't feel like my feet are in the ground, I know it's not going to end up. So I'll just stop, and I go put up the next one. If I feel it's good. It's me. You can't, like, you look through the glass and Ricardo will be recording vocals for me, or Mario, and they'll be doing this, looking at you, looking at the board, and it's not grabbing. But when you do certain things right, they'll go, "Hey, that was good," and you're like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "No, no, man, sell me the song. You're not. I'm not feeling Dave." So a lot of this record I felt, which was, I don't know, it's just like a freedom, man.
Yeah.
I hope the people feel it too. I mean, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I have not had this much radio play in over 10 years. Bullet Train is in the top 10 around the world.
Yeah,
It's getting
that's
played
crazy.
and that's an attribute to Michael Brandvold from Brave Words. He
Mhm.
is great at making sure. I mean, he schooled me, dude. Us older guys, we're not up to date on the media, how to really hype
Yeah.
yourself. He said, "Man, your pages are shit. You got to get on this. You got to do that." You know how to do that because he's a great marketing guy. He understands what markets people look at, what they read, how they really pay attention. So I learned hard and fast how to get more modernized and tighten up my ship. But he's done a great job. You today, I mean, every day I'm doing at least two, maybe five. KNAC I'm doing next week. And then KNAC, when I was in LA with Bangalore, they were playing like five of our songs nonstop every day. We were the darlings of that radio station. I mean, we did our record release party at the Whiskey A Go Go, and KNAC, her name was Tawn Mastery. She's since passed, but she was like the big DJ in LA. She announced the band, place was sold out. It was ABC in concert, it was called at the time. So it was on national television, our record release party, and everybody was there. So the kickoff was unbelievable. But I mean, if you think about being this high, and they're sitting around talking to me, the manager's going, maybe we'll put you out with Whitesnake on the Flip of the Tongue tour, 40 shows, Asia and Europe. I'm like, let's go. We're going to break this record. This is perfect. But literally, like a month later, see you later. It's over. So to be honest, I tried another couple records and then I just retired. I disappeared 9 years. I quit. I said, I can't deal with this anymore. So with this new mantra of media, downloading, streaming, it's a tough sell. There's no money in
Yeah.
it.
It's not easy at all.
No, it's so adapt, improvise, overcome.
Yeah,
And it's the way it is. Physical does not sell that well. I mean, when's the last time you saw a car with a built-in CD player?
yeah, exactly. It just don't
You,
exist anymore. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think.
you can order it. You can order it,
Yeah, yeah,
but
but
who wants to pay 5,000 extra euros for a car
exactly.
with a built-in CD player and then have a box of CDs on the floorboard? So it's an economical thing, but live is where it's at. Merchandise. Yesterday, I just received all my tour merch, the T-shirts. I have 3 different styles for this tour, and I'm going big with it. But without live shows, forget it.
Yeah, it's live shows
Forget
itself, and
for
it's incredible to see that you are getting so much airplay time with this album because it's not easy to get radios to play hard rock and heavy metal either.
There's one station in Baltimore, Washington D.C.
Mhm.
I tried for I don't know 10 albums to get them to play. Not interested.
Yeah,
They're playing it top 10 all day long, every day, 7 days a week. Europe, I mean, Metal Shop Radio are just pushing this thing beyond belief. I also have a plan. I'm working right now to go to America for late March, early April, and do about 2 or 3 weeks there. And tour with another band from my era, the name Babylon AD. You've heard of them?
yeah,
They
I
got a
did.
new single, and they're in the top 10 with me. They're kicking ass. I speak to their management and their agency. We spoke today. We're kind of putting a package together, and we're going to have another band because 3 band packages are kind of the normal now
Hmm.
because people it's a financial thing. So if you're playing like a 1,000 seater, tickets are 50 euros. You get 3 bands, everybody knows you're going to fill the room.
Yeah,
Yeah. So we're working on that. No guarantee yet, but I just did a big EPK with them today, and that's the talk. But I would probably use all American musicians, and I have some great ones in mind because with the new tariffs and the visa issues, it's impossible to bring these guys over. It's like $25,000 just to pay for the visas,
hmm,
and then it's another 10, 15 for flights. I mean, venues don't pay that kind of money to make it worthwhile to go.
yeah. I remember you talking about that last time we were talking and saying that it's impossible to go to America right now and to tour in America.
Hmm. A lot of bands that are Americans stay in America, and the European bands stay in Europe. But even with the visa changes with Brexit, a lot of UK bands don't come here to Europe,
Yeah,
and European bands don't go to England. So it's I hate it, but it is what it is. It's a political thing. Hopefully, it levels out. I mean, like CDs, people used to buy from me personally because I'll get from the label a bunch of CDs, and then I sell them online. I autograph them, do a photo with it, a little card. I was being told the other day, one guy told me from Illinois, he was ordering CDs from Germany from another band, 80 euros.
that's a lot.
Shipping,
Yeah,
shipping, tariffs, customs. He said, Dave, I buy 10 CDs a year. He goes, I can't afford it. I said, okay, buy it on Amazon in the United States.
yeah.
He goes, I have to. I want to buy it from you, bro. I want to support you and your merch, but I can't afford it. I'm a working man. I said, I understand.
Yeah, I actually saw that, with the new tariffs that should be going into place like today or yesterday or something, that a lot of labels from Europe are stopping to send anything to the US because it just doesn't pay off.
Well, sometimes I wonder if it wasn't planned because the mantra of physical has been dying.
Hmm.
So basically, they can sell streaming from their companies worldwide.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't hurt them because they still make money uh, sub licensing your record.
Hmm.
So, but physically, you're right. They're like, what are we going to sell? 200 CDs in the United
Yeah,
States?
it's not
Not
worth
worth the
it.
money.
Yeah.
We can't charge a person 100 euros for a CD. It's ridiculous. But I do think the European Union and the United States should come together and have a balanced budget where we're helping each other economically, building things together like we used to,
Mhm.
because it's not fair. The world is not fair. China has a huge monopoly on everything we do.
Yeah.
And this stupid war in Ukraine, I mean, I wanted to play Russia. I wanted to go to Ukraine. I've got friends that are Russians. They hate it too. And it's just like, what? I mean,
Yeah, and
it's a
you've been
bad
playing
time right now.
with Gut as well. Gut are from Russia, I think, at least part of them.
Yeah. Yeah. They're controlled. They can't go public from their country. They have to do it from other countries to promote for them. And it's terrible. They're artists. They're not freaking politicians and soldiers. They just want to rock and roll. And there's some great bands in Russia. You
Yeah.
know, I've Polish bands. There's bands, Ukrainian bands, unbelievable talent.
Mhm.
But they're being stalled because these dumb
Yeah.
power maniacs won't let them live a normal life.
Yeah, it's not easy.
I want to
Well,
come to
David,
your country. I've never played Portugal.
yeah, you gotta come here, man. That's what I was going to say.
I'm working on it. I mean, I've been working on it for 10 years. I've come close a few times, but
Yeah, I think
maybe I
last
can get on.
like 2 years ago, Aaron and I got a show here in the festival, but then that festival also got canceled. It's been a
Yeah,
whole
they
mess.
canceled. Yeah,
Yeah,
they canceled the festival. We were all excited, and then we got an email like a week later. I think the promoter took the money and disappeared.
yeah, something like that. That's what I heard as well.
It was terrible. And all these bands are like, "Hey, what's going on?" They're calling me, and I'm like, "Yeah, we're supposed to play it." They go, "We didn't get our advance. We're not going.
Yeah,
What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going." And then I got the email that the guy stole the money and took off.
yeah, no, no, it's. I think you should also come here because I'm sure there are a lot of, and I know a lot of people that would like to see you. Either with the Bangalore Choir or with your solo project. I mean, it would
Let's
be
do
great.
it.
Yeah,
I think with this record, it will open more doors.
yeah, hopefully, yeah,
You know, I, yeah. God bless you, man. I'd love to come to your country. I hear so many great things about the people, the food, the countryside. I
yeah,
want to see it.
yeah, man. Just I hope you can make it happen. I'll be waiting for you. We're at the end as well, so I just wanted to thank you, and it was an honor to talk to you again. Would you like to send any message to your Portuguese fans?
Yeah. David Reece is coming. Thank you for your support. And thank you, my brother. All your listeners, listen to this man's show. Keep music alive. I'll be there come hell or high water. I'll do my best.